does it mean to be a social historian?
Well, when I was much younger, in high school, I tell my daughter, history really concentrated on what historians say are dead white men. It was about great achievements and what presidents did, what kind of wars happened. Social history began in the 1970s when there was all kinds of upheaval at American colleges. Social history is really history from the bottom up. It's really looking at how people lived their lives and what affected people's lives and what shaped their lives, rather than famous people and people who we see in government and great experimenters or great inventors. So social history really is about day-to-day changes in people's lives through time.
So how did you become interested in social history of medicine, of the public, of women and children's health? What led you in this direction?
Well, most medical historians, usually there are very few history of medicine departments in the country. There are a few, but not many. So most medical historians really kind of tripped across the field and never even took a single medical history course and became medical historians. When I was in graduate school, I didn't start graduate school until I was 36 years old. So I kind of was able to have a change in career and was thinking about what is it that I was interested in doing when I was much younger, and I thought history. I wanted to be a history teacher. So my original idea was to go and teach high school history. That was my original plan. And I fell in love with graduate school, something that I never expected. And I was originally studying to be an environmental historian, which was another new field in history, kind of looking at how human activity shapes landscapes, and that's what I was taking classes about and reading books about and writing about and studying about. And I had a baby in the middle of graduate school. So here I was doing these two time-intensive activities, graduate school and new motherhood at once. And when I was thinking about what I was going to write my dissertation on, I was going to write about the Dust Bowl drought and what caused that, with the human hand in creating the Dust Bowl drought in the 1930s. And my baby was asleep in the next room. I was sitting on my study floor looking at soil maps of all things, thinking, I can't read a soil map. I'll never write a dissertation. I was in total despair. And lying at my feet was a copy of The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, because here I was, a new breastfeeding mother. And I thought to myself, breastfeeding, I can write a dissertation on the history of breastfeeding practices. And in that instant, I didn't know it, but I became a medical historian.
So you're the author of many articles such as Low Breastfeeding Rates and Public Health in the United States, Mercenary Hirelings or A Great Blessing, Doctors and Mothers' Conflicted Perceptions of Wet Nurses and the Ramifications of Infant Feeding in Chicago, 1871-1961, and many others. So, and also you're the author of the book, Don't Kill Your Baby, Public Health and the Decline of Breastfeeding in the 19th and 20th Centuries.
History, they're always long titles in
history. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So Don't Kill Your Baby is not a typical title for a book. So talk about the significance of that and some of the other things that you've done.
Yeah, that title comes from a public health poster in the 19th century. And the headline of the public health poster, it said, Don't Kill Your Baby. And underneath was reasons why mothers should breastfeed. In the 19th century, women, when I did my dissertation, I thought it was going to be a dissertation mainly about the 1940s and 50s, trying to answer the question, why did women turn to bottles and begin formula feeding and stop breastfeeding? But I kept going back in time to try to pinpoint when it was that women actually turned to giving their babies cow's milk instead of human milk, and I kept going back in time and back in time. I ended up in the 1880s and 1890s and discovered that it was then, that long ago, that women began giving their babies cow's milk. There were all these public health campaigns in big cities, essentially imploring women to breastfeed their babies, because the death rate of babies from diarrhea, 13% of babies didn't live to see their first birthday in the 1890s, and well into the 1910s even, largely can be traced to the feeding of cow's milk to babies instead of human milk.